Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. This week I will be letting you all know exactly how I got into flying and how I gained a huge passion for aviation. I will be telling you about my flying club and the steps I took in choosing the right flying school for me as I embark on my journey to gain my PPL and hopefully answer any questions that you may have if you are looking at getting started. The first thing I'd done before I even booked my first flying lesson was speak with my good friend Simon, who has been a pilot for many years and he has tons of experience. Simon was kind enough to invite me out flying with him so that I could get a taste of what it was like being in the sky. We arranged an afternoon of flying one evening back in February this year where we met at Swansea Airport to go flying in a Piper PA-28 Cherokee operated by Cambrian Flying Club in Swansea to give me my first experience of what it was like to train to become a pilot. As soon as I got to the airport that day, I knew I was going to absolutely love it and I was instantly hooked before we even took off. Just being in the airport and in that environment around other pilots and aviation enthusiasts and seeing the aircraft all lined up on the tarmac and taking off just gave me a huge sense of enjoyment, and I was super excited to get in the sky. Once I had boarded the aircraft, I knew that training to become a pilot was definitely for me and that it was something I was 100% going to be pursuing, and that weekend after flying with Simon I got my first block of lessons booked. Everything from above the clouds looked so amazing and Simon took me around some of the most beautiful areas that we have here in South Wales. When it came to me booking my first block of lessons, I looked online at flying schools nearby and the obvious choice was looking at what was available here in Swansea where I live. Swansea Airport is located in the stunning area of Gower and has some of the best beaches in Europe, which you can only imagine how incredible they look from up above. Swansea is a fantastic place to learn to fly, with unrestricted airspace around the airport, which means you are able to fly freely without direct guidance or control from air traffic control, and instead use established flight rules and your own judgment to ensure safety. There were three main factors that I was looking for when booking my lessons, and that was first of all location, cost and then reputation of the flying school. It needed to be easily accessible for me from where I live so there wasn't a long commute back and forth, and you do have to take into account the cost per lesson. Flying is expensive and you need to look at the end goal, which is eventually to gain your pilot license, so it isn't going to be cheap, and the more frequently you fly the quicker you will get to that end goal. The most important thing for me was the reputation of the flying school, and I wanted to make sure that I wouldn't be throwing my money away into a lot more lessons that were needed due to the lack of experience from instructors. After doing my research online, it was a very easy decision for me. I chose Gower Flight Centre based at Swansea Airport, which was the perfect location for me with just a 20-minute commute to the airport. Gower Flight Centre offer the most affordable flight training in southwest Wales in the award-winning aircraft, the Icarus C-42. They offer a £5 discount for every block of 5 sessions booked and £10 discount if you book a block of 10 lessons. The instructors here have thousands of hours experience between them, so I knew that I was going to be in safe hands with them to teach me to the highest standard possible. After speaking with the instructors there, I soon found out that Gower Flight Centre is highly ranked in the UK when it comes to learning to fly, which was fantastic to know, especially living nearby. The first lesson is aircraft familiarisation, where you will meet the aircraft you will be training in and get shown the controls, instruments and the main component parts of the aircraft, and you will be briefly explained to what they are. You will be shown the checklist to ensure everything is done in the correct order. I found out on this exercise that a very high percentage of people change their mind on learning to fly after the first lesson. Now this could be for a number of factors, but what I found out is some people just don't like the feeling of certain manoeuvres in the aircraft. I really liked my instructor's approach to this, and his words were to me, you need to know what certain things feel like so you know what feels normal and what doesn't. So the aircraft was put in some situations where I got to feel what it was like. Flying can be affordable, and to give you all an idea of the cost here at Gower Flight Centre, I am paying £135 per hour and try to have a minimum of 2 lessons a month, weather depending. It can be very annoying when you get your lessons cancelled due to weather, and at the start I used to get very annoyed and disheartened when the weather would affect me flying, because it was something that I would look forward to all week. But unfortunately, this is the reality of living in South Wales, and we do get hit with quite bad weather, and it is a very wet part of the UK with a lot of rain. If there is one thing I have also learned since learning to fly, it is a lot about the weather. Living right by the sea, the weather can completely change within around 30 minutes, meaning that unfortunately a lot of lessons do get cancelled due to bad weather. But that is the reality of living in the UK, and therefore it is really tough to put a time scale on when I will gain my pilot licence due to this factor. However, safety does have to come first, but I'm really enjoying the whole process. Depending on where you are located, prices can vary for lessons. That could be due to location or even the aircraft that you are training in. We are lucky here in Swansea as it is not a commercial or international airport, therefore prices are lower compared to some other areas. Just to give you an idea of the difference, I have a good friend who lives in Bristol who is looking to fly there, and the price up in Bristol for the same aircraft per hour is around the £200 mark, so I highly recommend you keeping your options open, do your research and be willing to travel if it's not too much of a commute to keep the cost as low as you possibly can, especially by looking at smaller privately run airports. I have had 3 different instructors during my time flying, and this is not due to any issues. This is purely because due to working commitments and Swansea Airport being closed on a Monday and Tuesday, it limits me to only being able to fly on Sundays, so I go with whichever instructor has availability on that chosen day. I really like the different styles and different approach by the guys there, and they all have their own unique way of teaching. We all get on brilliantly, and I have no preference with what instructor I am with during my lessons. The instructors I have had are Carl, Alistair and Anthony, and are all fantastic and make me feel very comfortable and at ease during my lessons, and it's always great fun with them, and we have a great bit of banter up in the sky. The minimum flight training required for the grant of an NPPL with a microlight class rating without operational limitations is a minimum total flight time under instruction of 25 hours, a minimum solo flight time of 10 hours, a minimum total navigation flight time of 5 hours, and a minimum solo navigation flight time of 3 hours. There are also ground training requirements that need to be passed, where there are written examinations in 5 subjects, which are meteorology, navigation, aviation law, human performance and limitations, and aircraft technical, which have to be passed within 24 months prior to applying for your licence. You will need to hold a valid medical certification, which you will need to apply for on the Civil Aviation Authority website. Here is a syllabus for the Icarus C42, which provides the exercises and what is expected from students on the course. You can see in depth what each exercise involves by clicking on each of the tabs. As we draw the video to a close, anyone out there looking at getting started in aviation, my advice is to go and do it. You will not regret it. It can open so many doors, especially if you are looking at going commercial with your flying, and trust me, there is no other feeling like it. I know it's a lot of information to take in, but it will be the best decision you will ever make, and the feeling after going flying is incredible. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and if you want to see more flying videos, hit the video on the screen now to see more from my aviation journey, and please don't forget to subscribe, like the video and leave a comment. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments and I will respond with any information that you need, and if there is anything in particular that you would like to see from my flying journey, please let me know. Take care everyone, and I will see you in the sky soon.